It's when he swung it easy at three-quarter golf swings, and he pretty much hit his number all the time. Dude, but when he hit something full, he hit it 20 yards over the greens at times. He's like, what are you doing?
He's just smiley, happy, and a freakish athlete golf robot that's going to be right there winning majors for the next 10-plus years. It's amazing.
Did you say he was smiling or smiley?
Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Philadelphia 76ers, who are the second best team in this Eastern Conference by a mile when Joel Embiid is healthy. That's just what they are. So now, if Giannis isn't available, the Bucks would be dogs in the series.
He ain't sleeping on that air mattress anymore. He's got a regular king-size bed, a posturepedic, whatever they call it, a Sealy's, whatever they do, those things. He ready to roll. Denominating tonight.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
People that bashed him will be eating their words this year. Pretty heavily favored to be a first-round pick, minus 400 earlier this week. But that's not the surprise.
If you're drafting J.J. McCarthy in the first half of the first round, you clearly believe not only is he a starter, he's going to be your starter for years to come. But
a popular bet was under 3.5 wide receivers in the first round.
The tape doesn't lie, baby.
Only on Sports.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Monday night, the meltdown has begun. We've dropped the puck in Sin City, straight from the strip in Las Vegas, Nevada, still scoreless right now. We played about 6 minutes. I pulled the trigger on the under 6.5, minus 160 in this game. We're also on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Do I love it? No. But I don't think the Knights should be home underdogs in this spot. I got a series play on the Dallas Stars plus 2.5, but my parlay's in trouble. Ideally, for my own personal parlay, it'd be better for me if the Dallas Stars were able to win this game. It would put me in a potential sort of bailout. I don't believe in hedging, but I do believe in abandoning ship sometimes. And my parlay is close to abandoned ship style, but nevertheless, we'll get to that a little bit later on. So we're on the Vegas Golden Knights. We like the under of this game. I like the under 5.5 as well, but I saw it was 6.5 minus 160. Wasn't bad. Here's an interesting one. You can still get in on this. I only put this in like 2 minutes ago. Like I put it in 3 minutes into the game. I got the Vegas Golden Knights to win the game and the Denver Nuggets to win the game. It's like plus 178. It's a pretty nice price. All right. So I like that parlay. And I played the Las Vegas Golden Knights plus 2.5 goals and the Denver Nuggets to win the game, minus 154, which I thought was a pretty good price as well. So I'm sort of all over the place with this game, but we looked at cash. Jamal Murray's going to play. This dude's always hurt. And if you're Team Canada, I really wouldn't count on this dude yet. He stiffed them last year as well, right? And they won a bronze medal without him. But Jamal Murray's hurt all the time. So it's one of those game-time decision deals. Looks like he's going to play tonight for the Nuggets. The Nuggets lost the other night. They tried to come back. They just didn't have it. You know, it's tough to sweep the same team 2 years in a row, right? So I think the Nuggets want to put the fire out tonight. They don't want to go back to L.A. They get it. You know, every game that, you extend, it adds, injury potential. Right, like you want to play as least as games as possible, especially with Jamal Murray. Like this dude, he's been through a lot. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. So you want to play as few games as possible. And I can say the same thing about the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, who are both up 3-1 right now in their series, and they're both waiting for each other potentially. So they're both going to want to put the final nail in their respective coffins. A lot of stuff to break down. We got NBA basketball with the Lake Show and the Denver Nuggets, which is pretty cool. Cool hockey game with the Dallas Stars and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And we got a full slate of Major League Baseball here tonight. Late night picks. I posted my picks earlier. We're on the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies have already scored 3 runs. They're up 3-1 on the Halos right now, the top of the second inning. The Dodgers and the D-backs are playing for the first time since they played in the postseason. Dodgers and D-backs, it's 1-1, or I should say they're back in the stadium for the first time. Dodgers do have something going right now. They got runners on second and third at the top of the second inning with nobody out. Pittsburgh and Oakland tied at 1 right now in the middle of the second inning. Cincinnati and San Diego in action, top 2. We like the under of the Braves and the Mariners. The Mariners have been a great under team. We'll do a little bit of a market watch a little bit later on, but one of the best bets in baseball has been this Mariners team to the under. Their pitching staff, not big names, but their pitching staff has been freaking dominant for like the last 2-3 weeks. I guess I'd say about 2.5 weeks. I think about their last 15 starts or so. Their ERA is spectacular. Their games, they're 9-1 to the under in their last 10. And the Atlanta Braves, as good as they are, the Braves play good baseball. The Braves don't get into like track meets every day. The Braves are on an 8-2 under run. It was a pretty low total at 7, right? And oftentimes it's 7.5, 7. I'll look to buy and make it like an alternative line or something like that. I didn't with this because in fact it was minus 120 to the 7 to the under. There wasn't anything to do with it. Really, I just said, you know what? I think it's going to go under. We're going to pull the trigger. We'll ride the 7 to the under. And that's what we're doing here. And the in-game total's 5.5 right now. Scoreless at the bottom of the second inning. The Raging Redhead Cam Stewart's going to step up and in. Joe Madden in the house tonight. We got George Kurtz with us and our boy Mo Khan on the road this evening. Of course, it was a National Football League draft over the weekend. We're going to break all that down. We got Rookie of the Year odds, defensive, offensive, NFL win totals, of course, are out there. We'll give you our thoughts on the different teams and how they did in the draft. Rick Saratella will join us tomorrow night. We'll break it all down, but our boy Mo Khan will be on top of it. But Mo is actually in attendance at the CFL draft. That's right. There's a CFL draft as well. It's not quite like the NFL draft, all right? Like what the NFL draft over the week, over the entire duration of the draft in Detroit, I think they got 775,000 people walk through the turnstile. It's a lot of people. Listen, it was basically like 3 days of 250,000 each per day. It's funny. I tweeted out, and I remember I was telling people, like the Super Bowl is big, and the Super Bowl is a big party and stuff, but the draft is bigger. And I said that in Vegas, and somebody in Vegas, whatever, because everybody that lives in Vegas thinks that, like, the world revolves around them and, like, everything's the best there. So I said, yeah, this is pretty cool, the Super Bowl. People are like, what was the Super Bowl like in Vegas? I said, it was all right, but it wasn't like the NFL draft in Vegas. So the NFL draft in Vegas was lit. Like, the NFL draft in Vegas was literally like 4 days of drunk fans, and it was like Woodstock, Lollapalooza type thing, Coachella. Right? It was literally like 250,000 people, 250, 300,000 football fans of all different teams just partying and, cheering on the players and booing players and getting lit up. The Super Bowl, you're not getting 775,000 people at the Super Bowl. Right? The Super Bowl is like 80,000 people, 60,000 of which are like VIP celebrity sponsors, commissioners, and like, it's not like, say, the Super Bowl isn't some big party that people think it is. It's a corporate party. The Super Bowl is like the rich party. It's like the party for like rich people and cool people in the NFL and stuff, but it's not for the average person. Like the NFL draft is free. Like that's the big difference. Like, the NFL draft is free. You don't all you have to do is download their app and show up on time and you'll get in. It's free. Right? Like the Super Bowl ain't free. So like the draft is the biggest party in the NFL. The numbers were massive. They got 12 million viewers. They averaged 12 million viewers in night one of the draft. Next year, the draft is in Green Bay. They're kicking it Midwest style, which will be cool but that's going to be a nightmare. Like, just how many hotel rooms are there in Green Bay? Like, seriously, you're gonna have like NFL fans like passed out on people's lawns and stuff like that across from Lambeau. Like, how many hotels you guys got? It's like one thing to host an NFL game, but like, do you guys realize there's going to be like 300,000 people that show up? Right, I said 775, but it's basically the same people that show up for the couple of days, right? So Joe Madden's going to step up, and then we'll get her thoughts on this scoreless hockey game. And the Minnesota Twins are getting all they can handle from the White Sox. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. We are on the Twins in this game against the White Sox. We'll break down, and the Nuggets are off to a 6-3 start. The Pelicans looking to avoid a sweep. And I tell you what, Oklahoma City, I like a lot of their players on their team, but these kids are pretty cocky for a team that's never really done anything. You know, like you're blowing off media, like you're blowing off, like you're really, what did Ali LaForce do to you? You know what I'm saying? It's like you guys think it's funny and you're calling people out, like you're trolling people after games online. You're trolling the media. You're trolling everybody. You know it's the first round. And you're playing the damn, like, Pelicans, right? And there was something about the Pelicans, too. I remember C.J. McCollum once in the playoffs on Twitter took a shot at Pascal Siakam saying he ain't that guy. You know what? I think he's closer to being that guy than you are, Urkel. But that's another story. Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been here a couple of years, and then go get the high-profile recruit and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing, the Monday Night Meltdown. We got a lot of stuff going on here tonight. 66-65 for the Pelicans right now over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Pelicans trying to avoid being swept. They're plus 2.5 right now. The in-game total is 199.5, and the Lakers are leading the Nuggets 7-6. They're getting 7.5 right now. We played 4 minutes. In-game total 215.5. Critical hockey game tonight for the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas don't want to relinquish the 2-0 lead that they had in the series. and Dallas don't want to go down 3-1. This is a pivotal hockey game going on right now. We've played about 11 and a half minutes or so, still scoreless right now at the T in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's bring in Joe Madden and Cam Stewart. Cam, who are you on in this hockey game? I believe you are on the Dallas Stars, aren't you?
Yeah, you should be my guy, Gabe, and just shave points off. Like every time you look at the account, what is Cam betting tonight? You'll get 9 out of 10 every time. You know me. I'm on Dallas, and I just don't understand how Vegas finds these goalies, Gabe. Like, remember they had Legacy before, like fifth stringers, and now Logan Thompson standing on his head the last game. Dallas should have won that game by like 4 or 5 goals. But again, this kid's pretty sharp, but I'm on the Stars. I'm also on the over. I didn't expect the same type of performance. This doesn't look very good, but maybe we can clip it live here. I thought over 5.5, but so far not so good.
Joe, what do you think of this game right now? In-game total is down to 4.5 right now, guys. Minus 160 to the over 4.5. The game is still basically a pick 'em. Dallas are favored, minus 125. Vegas are minus 105. What did you end up doing with this game, Joe Madden?
Oh, Cam and I are on the exact opposite in this game. I've got the Vegas Golden Knights to be able to get the win, and I've got the under, expecting a low-scoring battle for this whole one. Now, I couldn't jump on a under 4.5, though. That is so low at plus 134 live right now. But I just expected defense and goaltending in this one. We know Jake Ottinger really has turned around from those first couple of games, and I do think in this, it comes down to the very end and the very wire. I could see this one going to overtime, 2-2 apiece.
Yeah, I actually played like all sides of this game, which I normally don't do often, but I'm with you. I bought into the under, and I didn't think about it. Like, I didn't play it till right before the puck dropped, actually. I was like, all right, Vegas, I took Vegas because even though I thought Dallas could win the series, I got Dallas plus 2.5 and a parlay and all that. But I don't see Vegas losing 2 games in a row on home ice. I couldn't justify making Dallas the favorite in this spot tonight. And like you, Joe, I actually thought, I was like, you know what? Right before puck drop, I was like, this game is massive. Like, for both teams. Like, this is going to be a tight checking, lower scoring game. And the goalie suddenly got hot the other day, too. We'll see if that continues tonight. But you mentioned Logan Thompson, Cam. He's pretty good, right? I mean, the Vegas defense weren't as good this year. I don't think their goalies were so much to blame as per se. They just were like a little sloppier in their back end this year. A lot of hockey left, but I still think there's a lot of hockey in this series, Cam. Like, if Vegas wins this game, it's 3-1. I could see Dallas then not losing at home, making it 3-2 and sending it back here. So I don't think this series is close to being over still, even if Vegas wins tonight.
I wish I listened to you and Joe on the total because it is going to be a tight checking game. First goal is really important. And Gabe, you played net, and I just want to say Thompson too. He's been fantastic. Like, he's saving breakaways, not just like regular opportunities. Like, Dallas was on fire in that last game, and he's like making crazy saves. It's amazing to me how the Vegas Golden Knights find these goalies with Aiden Hill and now Thompson. It's just absolutely a miracle that they can pick up third and fourth string guys and turn them into stars. And these guys have been fantastic.
Well, you could say the same thing about the Vancouver Canucks.
You can.
The Canucks are doing right now what Vegas did last year. It's pretty crazy. And not even Vegas had to deal with this, in which basically I'm expecting Seeloff right now to be hurt. Where like any time a goalie plays, he's going to get hurt. Talkett joked about it today, and he said, well, we're pretty confident no matter who we have in there. And then they said, well, what about the fourth guy now? And he goes, well, we hope we don't see him. And he said, he goes, well, we hope we don't see him. He goes, he's good, the kid. But he goes, we hope we don't. No. And he sort of laughed like, no, we don't want to play a fourth goalie. Like, three's enough.
The series isn't over yet, but this is the deal. Vancouver really needs LA to steal a game and to give themselves an extra couple days. Every day is mandatory with the Demko and Dismiss situation, right? We don't know how long these guys are going to be out for. So if LA can get one more, that'd be a real benefit to the Vancouver Canucks. And if they could take care of business early against Nashville, that would be smart as well.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think that goaltending is really a problem, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to say that Demko's not better than them, but Vancouver need to create more scoring opportunities. They need to get more shots on goal. Like, their biggest problem isn't the goalie. Like, even without Demko, he played game one. You know what I mean, Joe and Cam? Like, if you know what I mean? Like, they nearly lost yesterday, and it wasn't because they had a third-string goalie in, technically. He played great. It wasn't his fault, right? And it was the same thing with the Smith when they lost. They actually played pretty well, and they lost the game. They need to play better in front of them. As far as Demko, but I agree, Cam, and more so for the goalie, is the Canuck players, this is their first playoffs and stuff. Like, Nashville might be down 3-1, but Nashville are really hitting Vancouver a lot. Like, Quinn Hughes is beat up. Like, he's really, like, he's gotten smoked. Like, they've really, like, singled him out. They're like, listen, like, dump the puck into Quinn's corner and smoke him. And, you know, it's a good strategy, right? It takes him out of the game a bit. Oh, really, huh? I got to see the replay of this, but no, Cam, sorry. Vegas has just scored.
It's going to be one of them nights. Oh, my God. What's Ottinger doing? That was
That's what I was going to say. I want to see the replay before, but even Ottinger was like, didn't know where the puck was. He's looking around. It's like, dude, like.
That's amateur night, man. Like, you make that
what just happened?
Come on. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't even see where that puck went. That was crazy.
Let's see. Okay, no.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't look as bad when you see what happened. It was just one of these weird deals, man.
Oh, my God.
It got flicked to him. It bounced right in front of the Vegas guy. And then like, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't have happened, Ken. He should have, like, controlled the puck more.
Yeah, no play.
In a scoreless game, you can't let that in.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that are going to be there a couple of years, and then go get the high-profile recruit and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So we saw the replay a couple of times. The Vegas Golden Knights, it was like a beer league wrist shot from like just inside the blue line. This should have been caught in the first place. And Ottinger just sort of, it was just sloppy. You know what I mean? It was just sort of sloppy goaltending. It's like, dude, like if you're dialed in, that doesn't happen. And then he got a second opportunity at it where it bounced in front of him, but that's where the bad luck came in, and Buddy on Vegas was right there. And then it sort of went through his glove, like in between. It was just one of those, like, trust me, he'll want that back. And you could tell right after, he was like, oh, God, like, he didn't even know it went in. Like, that's baffling. And I say this all the time to people, and George Kurt's going to join us later. And I always get mad at Kurtz, like every baseball season. And Cam, you'll remember this. He didn't like any team this year because of their pitching. He says, oh, they don't have any pitching. I said, well, no one has pitching. I said, whatever. Well, whatever. Like Seattle, like don't have brand name pitchers. They're also 9-1 to the under, and they have like a 1.17 ERA in their last 15 games. And I always said this about goaltending, Joe. People always talk about like these star goalies and stuff. And star goalies, I swear, how many star goalies have won Stanley Cups? If you're a star goalie, it usually means you're on a bad team. You become a star goalie because you're the best player. And it's always a problem if the goalie's the best player on the team. And I've said it a million times. You don't need a star goalie. You need a hot goalie and or hot goalies. You know, the kid on the Canucks yesterday, 23 years old, he doesn't know any better. He doesn't have any fear. He doesn't think about things. He's just out there playing, and he's playing well. Vegas last year with the Brossois, the Logan Thompsons, the Aiden Hills, Jonathan Quick. It didn't matter. It was like, well, we'll just play him and we'll win and we'll just sort of move on as though we'll play the hot guy. And look now, guys, look at the so-called star goalies.
Yeah,
and you called it, Joe. Credit to you, Joe. You called it early in the series, actually, about maybe you got to like Hellebuck's a problem. It's not his fault they're losing, but he's not helping them. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's helping anything. Like, it's like, dude, like we're kind of counting on you to make that save, but you're not. So we got problems now. And Jake Ottinger, we're at the point now. He reminds me of Jose Theodore, Cam. Jose Theodore in his heyday used to make a spectacular save, but it got to the point where every time like someone shot the puck, you didn't know. It's like, I don't know, it might bounce in the net and he'll stop the hard breakaway, but I'm not way with Ottinger now, where I don't really trust him. It's like you flip the puck at the net. You don't really know what's going to happen. And I think Vegas are catching on to this. Flick the puck at the net. He's not confident.
Excellent points. Hellebuck's been a train wreck for a guy that's that good, and it's not all his fault, but you have to make saves. You said it. Like, look at Vegas, Hill, Thompson. Vancouver's had different guys step up. You know what I mean? Boston, they've been consistent with Swayman.
Yeah, if you're counting on your goalie, Ken, you got problems, bro. It means you got a problem. Like
the only goalie who's a star, but an old star that has played great has been Sergei Bobrovsky. Even Vasilevsky in that series was not as sharp as he usually is. Bobrovsky's been amazing. He's turned back the hot tub time machine, Gabe. I watched some of his Spinorano saves and stuff. Like, I'm baffled. I'm like, this guy looks great again. That was the Bobrovsky from Columbus that swept Tampa Bay. That's the guy. He's back with Florida. And the thing about Florida is they don't rely on their goaltending. But every time he makes a big save, and the thing that impresses me about him the most is they're usually in the other team's damn end. And he just has to make a save in 8 minutes, and he makes a huge one. And that's really hard to do, as you know, Morency, making a save out of nowhere when your team's dominating. Ottinger's the opposite of that. He gets cold.
If there's any consolation for you, I think the Panthers will beat the Bruins after, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I'm in big trouble, Gabe. I owe Matt Peralta money in a jersey.
If you want to get money back, if you want to get money back, and it's not your team, but at least just think, like I was watching, I'm not even a Leaf fan. Yeah. I'm watching Boston. They're all cocky. Their coach talks so much smack after the games. And I'm thinking, you guys talking a lot now. You're going to lose to Florida next round. You're not playing the Leafs. Like, you're playing the complete opposite of the Leafs and the Florida Panthers. And, Joe, as far as the Leafs are concerned, without a doubt, like, you can't – like, the Washington Capitals got swept and stuff, but, like, they tried. Like, you know what I mean? They got in fights. They tried. You know what I mean? They took a game to overtime or whatever. You know what I mean? It was a one-goal game or whatnot. You know what I mean? Or they battled. You know what I'm saying? Some of these teams, they lose. Charles Barkley talked about it tonight, actually. Like he was ragdolling the Pelicans. And he basically said, you know, there's no shame in losing. Only one team's going to win the series. It's how you lose. And, you know, we'll get Cam's take on the other side of the break and Joe's take. But I've watched every series, every game in the NHL playoffs. There's not a more gutless team in the playoffs than the Leafs. There's not a team that seems to care less than the Leafs. And it just trickles down. Fact.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been there a couple of years, and then go get the high-profile recruit, and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Jake Ottinger's lost his stick. And Vegas just nearly scored. But Dallas scored while we were gone. And it was another beer league goal. Talking about these goalies. It was a terrible goal. Like I'm dead serious. Like, if you were playing in a competitive beer league, like, your boys would chirp you for that. like to be on the bench saying, I can't believe you effing let that in from the side. Like, come on, man. Like, basically, Buddy on Dallas shot from, like, the corner.
Yep.
Like, just like a straight line. And, I'm not pretending to be a goalie coach, but I'll tell you, there's one thing I do notice about Thompson. He goes down so fast all the time.
Great point, Gabe. Great point.
He lives on his knees, Cam. Like, I swear, you fake a shot, this guy goes down, bro.
That's
Dallas one thing that they knew. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, rifle it high. He's always on his knees. And you saw, he's sitting on his knees. It's like, bro, he's in the corner. Why aren't you not standing
Great
up?
point.
Like, why are you not hugging the post, standing up? Why are you on your knee? And he saw that, and he rifled it. Look, he saw. He goes, look, he sees this. Look at it. I see the replay. Like, why are you on your knees there?
Exactly. Stand up.
He can't be the goalie of Team Canada, just for the record. That's why I've been analyzing it so closely. I'm like, Skinner might be the best guy.
Skinner's back. Hey, good old Skinner. Steamed hams with Principal Skinner. I love Hey, Edmonton winning a 1-0 game, but Gabe, and Henrik Lundqvist talked about this. He goes, there's no need for a goalie to go down on your knees and give them that top corner. You played the position. If I'm a forward, I'm laughing.
I didn't see him say that. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, he gave the guy something, but if he stands up, he's got nothing. And that's goaltending 101. The first thing they teach you when you start playing competitive hockey, when a guy's in the corner like that, you stand tall. There's no need to go down until you need to go down. Don't give a guy an open net, even on an angle like that. That was Thompson does have some interesting little quirks about him. He makes big saves, but his technique's a little bit flawed.
Yeah, but they teach that technique now.
Yeah, it's a wrong technique.
That's I don't like it.
I don't.
It used to be stand up, right? They used to when I played, it used to be don't go down unless you have to. That was their sort of thing in the old days, right? Come out and challenge. Now it's like don't leave the crease. In the old days, come out remember Billy Smith used to be out the blue line sometimes, coming out to try to stop a shot. He's like, I'm coming for you.
I love that guy. I love Billy
But you're
Smith.
cutting the angle down big time, right? So you're cutting the angle down on the guy. But nowadays, I swear, you see goalies all the time, Joe and Cam, you'll see it. they're only playing position. Like the puck comes so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've decided, like the goalie coaches, the evolution of the position. Like I don't like they wouldn't like Hasek or a Mike Palmateer now. Like they would basically say you can't do that. Like don't do that. Like don't try to react to the puck. You know what I mean? Like Dominic Hasek used to like react to it and spin around and and kick his leg up and like you notice like there's no spectacular saves anymore, Cam. If you'll notice, like there's no like oh my god. Bobrovsky does actually. He's got a few with his stick where he spins around.
He's old school.
Yeah, it's like that's Russian
and he's
because he's Russian.
Guy.
He's like, yeah, I play Russian sort of freestyle, right? So like Hasek, European freestyle, but
you're right.
Because like a big save now will be like, oh, what a glove save. It's like wasn't what a glove save, but he shot it right into his effing glove.
Right. They just stay in the middle of the net and hope for the best a lot of the time.
He's like 6'3", he's wearing all this gear. And he's all big, and he's positioned, and they just tell him, like, play like this, go down, block this, and give credit to the buddy on the Stars there, because not many guys will hit that shot. And I think they'll live with it and say whatever. But I don't like it. Like, I don't like the modern analytics of some of these goalies that just go down like that. I noticed that with Thompson. So as far as the Leafs tomorrow, Joe, and then we'll give it to Cam.
Yeah.
They're going into Boston tomorrow. And I don't really see how this team is going to respond well in this spot, especially if they get down early in this game, which they inevitably will. We don't even know if Austin Matthews is going to play in this hockey game. And the Bruins are only minus 165 favorites. You could argue they should be bigger favorites. They own the Leafs. Not to mention, like I said, the Leafs are pretty much the most non-playoff team in the playoffs. Matthews can score all the goals he wants, and Marner can do this and that. They can skate around and fly around and stuff, but they don't understand how to win in the playoffs. They don't have the next level. They don't have the desire to block the shot. They don't have the desire. And everybody always talks about, oh, the Leafs need like more this and that. The other guys are fine. Yeah, I get it. Reeves makes mistakes sometimes because he's trying to make a play out there. He's trying to kill people. But you only win. Like the Vancouver Canucks are a good example. They're winning because Brock Besser is scoring, right? He's one of their better players, and he's showing up, right? Like if your best players don't show up, you won't win. Look at the Colorado Avalanche. Why are they winning? Because of Cale Makar. Like, you know what I mean? He's doing his thing. He's playing like a star. The Leaf players, Joe, don't play like stars. Right? They play like just sort of windbags. Like they're terrible. And I don't have any confidence in them more at all. Do you?
No, I have no confidence in them. It's like they don't have the heart out there, this team, and they come out with that dead look in their eyes as soon as they hit the ice with the Boston Bruins. So as long as it's Swayman in there, in net for the Boston Bruins, I'm going with the Bruins all day because I really do think Austin Matthews, even if he starts this game, won't finish it out there. And I do think the Bruins probably cover the puck line because we're going to see that elimination style hockey where Samsonov or Wall, whoever goes in net for Toronto, gets pulled. And I do think Boston will get those empty netters. So give me the Bruins here on the puck line. And then I'm going to look at Pasternak for the anytime goal. I love him here to be able to have a strong performance. It's only coming in at plus 110, but I do think he's going to be strong in this game.
You know, Cam, like I said earlier, it'd be easier to buy in. Like, I don't just bury a team if they're down 3-1. I even said, I think if Dallas are down 3-1, they can go back home, they can win, they can grind it back and try to get back in this series. But their play on the ice, listen, Austin Matthews is sick. We don't even know he's going to play. And quite frankly, he's been playing terrible. I know he had a nice goal on a breakaway, but other than that, like he just coasts. He coasts. Marner's not even coasting. Marner's just like a problem. So much so that you saw what happened on the bench with Nylander. And just for the record, for people that can't read lips, people did figure it out, what Nylander told Mitch Marner, and it was pretty telling. Like, Marner's been in the league for a couple of years. Like, to say that to him on the bench. Nylander told him, stop effing crying, bro. You're not in junior anymore.
Yeah, effing play.
What does that mean, Joe? You got a star player on your team looking over another star player, telling him to stop acting like a teenager. What is that? You're not in junior anymore. Stop effing crying. You're not in junior anymore. Telling him to grow up, that like just shut up. And Matthews just sitting there, like kind of like rattled by it all. Tell him, calm down, calm down. Marner throws his gloves, but they're lost, Cam. Like I don't see like. Unless they find something tomorrow, they're going to dig down deep, but they don't have it. They can dig down. It's not there, bro.
No, as you said, Besser, and look at the way the Canucks came back. All the Leafs stars are their liability. Their best players have been Robertson. I told you, Nyes has been fantastic. Like all these outskirt, third line, fourth guys, they're the ones who work and get chances. You're right. And I look at Mitch Marner, and he bitches all the time about everything. And how do you play with a guy like that? They do. They act like children. And when I look at the Boston Bruins, they look like grown men. They must love playing the Leafs. And I don't know what Sheldon Keefe has done. It's not his fault, but he's not a very good coach. He does a lot of things wrong. The power play has been dreadful. The goaltending, it hasn't even been that bad. You know, Samsonov, whatever.
No, the goaltending hasn't been a problem.
Yeah. No, it's not the goalies. No, it's their defense, and their forwards don't get back and pick up their men. I've never seen a playoff team leave guys open on Boston. See how tight these other teams are? The Leafs are the only team. They do stuff that like junior players don't do. It's just shocking to me. Shocking.
But Boston do a lot of little things. Like they got away with holding the Leafs stick that led to a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Leafs need to know this is the playoffs. This is what happened.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the map. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been there a couple of years, and then go get the high-profile recruit, and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Level 1 continues. Sirius XM Channel 159 of the SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. And I've said in the past, hockey coaches only can do so much, right? Hockey's such a reactionary sport that it's sort of like baseball. Like a baseball manager, it's important that how he runs the clubhouse. You know, what's the atmosphere? What's the vibe? What's you know what I mean? What's the you know, you got to run the room. It's like a captain of a ship. Right? Like the captain of the ship isn't worried about everything on the deck. He's running the ship, right? So a lot of times coaches get too much credit or too much blame at times. And I've always kind of been neutral on Keefe, Cam, and Joe. I've sort of looked at him sort of like a yes man type, right? He's happy to have the job. He probably wouldn't get hired anywhere else again. He's coaching a great organization, and he's going to go along with whatever the organization tells him to do, as opposed to fight back and say, no, I'm coaching the team, and they're not like, right? And now, though, when I see him, he doesn't have an answer.
No, he doesn't.
He needs to go. And all you need to know is there's a couple of things, too. Like their style of play. This is a problem for them, in which Kevin Bieksa, I think, does a great job, brought it up as far as the Leafs. And he goes, the Leafs will never win in the playoffs. And he was just sort of matter-of-factly about it. And he basically said they're not a dump and chase team. And it's a good point. When they get to the playoffs, they change their style, right? They're like, oh, we need to play this. And watch them. They dump the puck in. They never get it back. They don't win the battle. Like their stars, if you'll notice, the Canucks didn't really change the way they played. They're like, we're going to live and die with this. We don't get a ton of shots on goal, but this is the way we live, and this is the way it's worked for us, and we're going to do this. And they're up 3-1, right? Like the Leafs, they don't play playoff-style hockey. I talk about all the time in the NBA, teams that try to pretend to play the defense suddenly. It's like you can't just suddenly switch. And like you need to build these habits up. And quite frankly, Marner and Matthews, and Nylander's been hurt, but it's a problem. Like I said, it's a problem when Nylander's telling Marner, like, this isn't effing junior, stop crying. And Sheldon Keefe says on the interaction on his players on the bench, if he's sensing any frustration, I don't sense any frustration, says Keefe. Guys are pushing one another. Guys are competitive. Guys want to win. You know, that's all part of it. You don't sense any frustration. Man, I wish you were a cop when I was a teenager. I never would have gotten arrested.
Exactly.
Like, what are you, Mr. Magoo? Like, kid, you're standing there. You don't sense any frustration. You got your player telling another kid, hey, shut up. You're not in junior anymore. You don't sense anything, though. And the thing is, though, I understand, guys, if you're a scrappy team, sort of like the Chiefs, when Reed and Kelsey flipped out at Reed.
Yep.
At least Kelsey delivers, and they can say after, listen, we're used to winning, we weren't winning, and we flipped out, and we got panicked, and we got mad.
And they worked it out. Yep.
The Leafs don't have that. It's not like they are competitive. They're not competitive. Like, you guys don't want to win because you're not trying hard to win. So, like, Keefe needs to basically throw them under the bus. Like, if I was Keefe now, I would know. I'm done anyways. I would say, I swear to God, if I was Keefe, I would have said, I'd like to see my guys put as much energy into that on the ice as they did, like, on the bench there.
Yep.
Right? Like, you turn it on the players, and Keefe doesn't. He's in a constant defense of these guys all the time. Well, they need to be thrown under the bus, point blank.
You know what the problem is,
they need to be told, you guys are sucking and you need to be better, but they're not. And everyone's just going to lose in the end because of it. People are going to end up getting traded. Keefe's going to get fired. And they need to break it up. And the guy that needs to go and the guy that will go, they're not going to trade Nylander because he's not the head case. They're not going to trade Austin Matthews because he's the face of the franchise. Mitch Marner is playing his last game tomorrow night as a Toronto Maple Leaf, Joe. Mark my words. This is it for Mitch Marner tomorrow.
Could be.
Completely agree.
Here's another
thing. It's all his fault.
No, it's not all his fault, but he never steps up in the playoffs. Marner's soft, Gabe. And then the thing is...
but he's Austin Matthews.
Yeah, no, Austin Matthews is brutal too. But the thing is, and the problem is, the inmates run the asylum. Babcock was, he was mean. Then they bring in a soft guy like Keefe, and they walk all over him. The GM's a little loser, right? Oh, we'll get rid of this guy. He's a sabermetrics nerd. Then they bring in Treliving, the guy who basically gave Calgary's best players to the Florida Panthers. It starts from the top. Half of those guys on the Panthers used to play for the Flames. Kachuk, Bennett, all these guys. They were the best.
No, but it's all, the only common theme is the Leafs players. It's the Leafs players. It doesn't matter who the coaches are.
Yeah, it's just it's everything, Gabe, from the top bottom. The whole organization.
It's their system.
It is. It's everything.
It's the entire system. Like I said, they don't play playoff-style hockey. Then they get to the playoffs, and they're surprised. They just don't get it, right? Like, you need to want to sacrifice. Like Mitch Marner doesn't block shots. He doesn't. Austin Matthews, there was the empty net goal the other day. They're only down by one goal. When the Leafs pulled the goalie a couple of games ago, and Matthews and Marner quit on the play. I don't know if you remember, Joe, it was like earlier in the series, Boston missed the open net like 4 times in a row, but it was like a game in a park where they kept getting the puck back. It was like Buddy missed the net and it bounced back to him. He's like, oh, I'll just shoot in the net again. There were no Leafs there. Like they literally had 4 cracks in an empty net, and the 2 Leafs were Marner and Matthews, who decided just to coast back and watch it unfold. When I saw that happen, I tweeted at the time. I said, man, that's just frustrating. Like, what are you going to do? Like, if you're Sheldon Keefe, you got to rip them publicly for it, but he doesn't. So he's just a yes man. It's like I said, Marner's a good player. He needs to get out of Toronto. It'll be better for him. And the Leafs should try to get like a defense. You know what I mean? Try to get you can get a good player for him. And or have money after.
How's Zach Hyman doing leaving Toronto? Best years of his life. Minute he got out of Toronto, hey, I'm in Edmonton. Things are great. They love me here. I show up in big games. Even Shaq's called Shaq Hyman.
But there's a lot of teams. But there's a lot of teams that lose, and people are going to blame the coach all the time when it's the same players. Like Philadelphia is a good example. They blame Brown. They blame Doc Rivers. Now, all right, Nick Nurse is your coach. Oh, it's amazing. We got Nick Nurse. You're down 3-1 to the Knicks. You got the same damn problem you always have. Right? Like, it's not your coach. It's your players. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. You can switch the coach all the time. It's your players.
Yes, it is.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been there a couple of years, and then go get the high-profile recruit, and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. Lakers doing their thing right now, up 41-34. Almost to be expected, to be honest. Like, this is what they do. Like, if you're Denver, this is almost like good by Denver standards. Like, they're only down by 7. For them, that's like, yeah, we're trying, like, right now. Like, and then they'll start to dial it up a notch. So, Joe, before we get you out of here, so Leafs, Bruins, you and I agree, tough to take the Leafs. Islanders are at least dying on their sword. They're trying. The Canes are just too good for them. The Canes are minus 260 tomorrow night. The Jets are pretty bad too. Like, I've warned everybody about the Jets being playoff chokers. They just are. The Avalanche probably finish them off tomorrow. And quite frankly, I think the Canucks probably finish the Preds off tomorrow. What do you like tomorrow, Joe?
Oh, when I look at the games, I think the Canes and the Islanders, I'm going to take that one under the 5.5. We know only one game so far. The series has gone over that. I'm not too worried with those empty netters because I think the Canes will get up 2-0 and be able to protect the goal. And then with Winnipeg and the Avs, I'm going to take some shots on goal props here for the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor and Monahan both had 4 shots on goal in the last game. If you parlay both of their shots to the over in this one, you're getting it at plus 167. So Kyle Connor's over 2.5, and then Monahan's over 1.5. So I love that plus money. I do think both of them will get at least 3 shots on the board. I really do think the Avs probably finish it off. I just don't like what I've seen out of Winnipeg. And then that last game there, I think the Preds can push it a couple more games. I really am thinking this one goes 7. I still think Vancouver walks away with the win.
7?
But something about Predators.
Yeah,
I
Joe,
think it goes
wow.
all the way to 7.
She's a
I think it
Predator.
does.
Predator fan.
No, it's Vancouver.
Hold on. 7 what? 7 minutes tomorrow? 7.
Hey, settle down,
shots on goal?
Morency. You're up 3-1. Be careful. Still got to win a game. Not over yet.
No,
Be
I
cool.
know. I'm aware.
The Predators are pesky. And hey, 8 seconds left to force overtime to win the game. So things hang on like little threads in these series. Think about the Islanders blowing that 3-goal
I know,
lead.
but
tied.
also the Predators and the Canucks have now played 7 times this year. The Canucks have won 6 of them.
Yeah, they have.
They have.
So-
But the Predators are getting those block shots, and the amount of block shots they're able to get. Saros has to stand taller in his net, though, because those shots that are getting past their defense, they're going in on Saros. So if Saros can have a better performance, I think
Yossi got hurt too.
Yeah. I think Vegas just scored.
The thing with the Vancouver Canucks, my only fear of this game, Joe, and I tweeted about it after, I said I could see the Canucks losing this game and then finishing them off on the road after in game 6 because the Canucks are kind of a younger team. They don't like to be called a young team, but they kind of are. And there's going to be a lot of excitement in the building tomorrow. Like, teams get caught up in that. Like, look at the Canucks. They played better on the road in this series, right? They won both games on the road. So coming back home, I'm just a little fearful. They're going to know, like, the city's ready to explode. We're about to win a playoff series. You get caught up in it and stuff. But with all that being stated, then I look at the line of the game, and it's minus 120. And it's like, how the hell, like, the Canucks are getting no respect. The Canucks got little respect from the odds maker all year. And if they want to keep on making these numbers, all right. Like I said, Vancouver beating them 6 out of 7 times this year. They're going to beat them tomorrow night. I say they ride the kid again tomorrow night, and he'll be the difference maker. He'll be the one. Casey DeSmith overthinks things. Like, you get on the crowd chanting your name. When you're 30 years old and stuff, it's different. This kid's 23, 24 years old. He's, like, got swagger and stuff. You see him, he was like, he waved to the Nashville fans on the way off the ice after overtime. How many kids are going to do that in the NHL? Like, you know what I mean?
I missed that. I love that.
Yeah, he was the most valuable player at the World Hockey Championships last spring for Latvia. He played. He won the most valuable player of the tournament. Latvia won their first ever medal. Remember that game? They beat the United States in overtime. He was the goalie. Like, this kid, like, is a big time prospect and stuff. I would ride him. He's better than Casey DeSmith, and I'm pro Casey DeSmith. Casey DeSmith played his ass off in that other game in Nashville, and he got the win for them. But it's Casey, take a seat, all right? Because we're riding the kid right now until Demko comes back. And Demko won't be back for the Edmonton series, even if it gets there. Total 5.5 in this hockey game tomorrow. So Joe likes the Nashville Predators to extend this to 7. I don't have to say cut her mic. We're out of time anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would cut your mic now.
Sorry, guys. But I want Vancouver to take it at home.
Oh, sure you do.
I think they take it
Sure,
at home,
sure.
right?
Yeah, her flame bias is coming out. But I do think Vancouver could take it on the road. If they lose, they come back the next game and win.